Hello everyone, it's Jebro, and today there was a big balance patch preview on a few classes, all the classes, whatever. I haven't actually got that far through. I've only watched Warrior and a few other bits, but it is Engineer that we are here to review and react to. I've ditched kind of like the green screen thing, so you can see a bit of bits and bobs behind me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let us check out what Cal and Roy have to say, because it's a big deal. Also, Roy is on the stream, which is awesome. Roy obviously used to commentate with me. He commentates with like Mighty Teapot. He streamed, did loads of stuff. He's working for Arena, so that's very awesome. It's very cool to see him on the streams as well. He knows a lot about the game, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Cal and he have to say about Engineer. We're going to see whether or not we're going to like it as Engineer players. So let's go through it. What we're going to do is we're going to watch it, we're going to react, and then we're going to think about what's going on and how that affects us. And if Engineer got a lot of changes, this is mainly competitive rather than PvE, but it will branch over a little bit here and there. There's been significant changes with Warrior, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Engineer. If you want me to cover some other stuff, let me know in the comments below.
Earlier start. I need to drink some water, you know.
Cal needs to drink some water. Something we did, I believe.
Warrior has a lot of changes. Other classes don't have quite as many.
Yeah, other classes will not have quite as many. You know, Engineer has definitely got a good amount of changes. We've got some, you know, good amount of changes for Ranger as well. Not as many for other classes, but we really were focusing on a couple for this build, and we've got changes for every single class at least. So you know, there's something for everybody. But yes, moving on, we're going to look at Engineer now. So the sort of high-level things to look at are Scrapper, Hollow-Smith, and then the general class updates. So for Scrapper, we are removing some of the trade-off. So you're no longer going to have the stat reduction when you slot Scrapper. Hollow-Smith, you will still have the function gyro on the F5. So you're not going to get the tool belt for the elite skill anymore.
That is something that we're kind of looking into for potentially in the future, but we didn't want to put it back on the interact key. Yeah. So it's still a question of, can we find a place to put function gyro such that we can give the elite tool belt back to Scrapper, because it's
Wait, what?
Definitely a reasonable idea if we can find the right solution.
Okay, so what they're talking about is giving you back, because as you know on Scrapper you have the function gyro on your F5 or shift 5 or whatever, and they want to give you your elite back on that button, which actually I think could be pretty strong. I don't know, maybe. But like, that's one of the reasons why Scrapper might not be used that much. Imagine having Throw Elixir X, like, as well as like everything else with Scrapper as well. That'd be fun. That'd be really fun, actually. I'm thinking about the other elites that come out with it. You might be able to do rifle, double orbital strikes, as well, because that's the shift. That's the F5 as well for mortar kit. What else is there? Yeah, just the med kits maybe with supply crate as well, so you can go full healing Scrapper. There's some potential there. There's some potential, not like a big thing, but there is for some things like Elixir X, like the the mower throw is massive in Scrapper. That'd be cool. Yeah, okay, I'm liking that possibility, but it's not in this.
And we got some Hollow-Smith changes, which are primarily going to be in PvP.
There might be some buffs to Grenade Kit if Zan is watching.
Oh, I hope not. That would be, no. And then, of course, as I mentioned, we got some general updates there for Engineers. So I think we can probably go in game to look at the Scrapper changes.
No, we were just going to talk about.
Okay, we can just talk about the Scrapper changes.
Yeah, fair enough. Talk about some of these Scrapper changes?
So
I guess we could show them off at some point. I'll switch over while we talk about
No.
Yeah. So World versus World, Scrapper Engineer is a very strong spec right now.
Sure.
And it has been for a very long time, and it's needed more than just some number changes. So the obvious, at the very top, if you're a World versus World player, you probably might be happy to see this, unless you're Scrapper main. But nonetheless, Scrapper wells are now going to function similar to other wells, in fact. So Chronomancer wells, Necromancer wells. They're ground targeted 900 range skills, which stay in one place after you place them. That is going to be the same thing as Scrapper wells. So the functionality of the gyros are not going to be changing, although if you do have the trait that affects it, that gives you super speed on it, it will be applying the super speed on the first pulse of the well instead of at the end, just to make it a little bit easier to grant that super speed now that, again, they don't move with the Scrapper. But yeah, currently in live, the gyros, the wells do follow the Scrapper. It's an instant cast skill, and we felt that was just a little bit too powerful of an effect. So they're not going to be doing that any longer. And fun little bit here is that the gyro is now going to be back in game too.
Yeah, I mean, the gyro was above the player's head, but much smaller. Yeah. Now that it's a ground target
I'm not sure how I feel about this. In PvP, I'm wondering, it says World v World there, but at the top it doesn't have World v World with the brackets, so I'm like, that looks like it's going to be a specific change thing, which means like Scrapper as a roamer, like running around while I'm doing with rifle, isn't really that viable anymore. The good thing is that if they say that quickness is on the pulse when you drop it, that's good, because you get quickness when you want it, rather than waiting for it to come out overall. It's not too bad. I kind of hope the area's maybe a bit bigger, or like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Defense field is stationary as well and not following. Kind of sucks. And the cooldown going up from 25 to 35 is world v world. So I'm wondering where this goes in PvP, in structured PvP specifically. Also just in raids and stuff. I mean, I know you're kind of stacked, but I wonder if that's going to PvE as well. I wonder how you all feel about this, because they're taking away a lot of Scrapper that made it so much more fun. I know it's stronger, but maybe they could have just reduced the effects or something. But like, I mean, it makes sense for Worlds. Worlds are placed, but what's that going to take away from Scrapper? I'm not sure I'm massively into this, honestly. Let's keep going.
In fact, we made the gyro effect a lot larger.
Yeah.
So we can kind of show that, I guess, if we want to hop into the game.
The gyro effect is larger. Well, that's okay.
Or we can keep talking about... Oh, yeah. I'm showing off dev menus right now, so Mark doesn't want that to really happen, which is fair. So we can see how large... Yes. This is actually how large the gyros were when they used to follow you around. This is the true size of the mid gyro.
Indeed. Yeah, pretty simple stuff. It's now
so the one note is that this is kind of, it adds some flexibility. Obviously there's a power loss in the gyro field not following you around, but being able to cast this from 900 units away and, you know, get some cleanse, get some healing, stealth.
Yeah.
I guess it's not too bad. You can kind of cast it wherever you want. You can put, like, maybe, I'm wondering how the knockback will, you can stand away from it as a, actually as a rifle Scrapper, you could stand away from it and use the knockback to CC and kite even more. But I did like it as a good ability on me to keep people away. I guess you can kite a little bit inside it. I'm not sure how I feel about this. This isn't horrible. I hope he shows off the knockback.
Different usability with it. Potentially not as strong
the gyro here,
as before, but definitely still usability, just in a different way. You have the ability now to cast it at range on your allies, potentially help people who are falling behind your group, specifically in World vs. World. But either way, as I said, Scrapper just been a bit of an issue for quite a while in World vs. World.
It's pretty strong in World v World, but in PvP, it's not. Like in structured PvP, it doesn't feel like. And this is my worry about these balance changes. In competitive, it's like getting these changes, whereas in PvP, it feels like that's going to knock it out more. I'm talking about the blast gyro as the other gyro I wanted to see, sorry. So I'm kind of sad about that. We shall see. The reason I'm looking off here is that I'm looking at the wiki as well. So I'm kind of a little bit like...
It's a handful. We don't need to run through all these. People can see in screen cap and read them. You know, just...
Okay, Fumigate, cooldown from 12 to 20. This is World v World, so that's the field... That's the third skill from, Medkit. Sorry, Elixir Gun, Medical Dispersion Field, Conversion Percentage 10% to 7%. Okay. This is all World v World specific. Okay. Oh, wow. Minefield no longer removes boons and instead cripples. Wow, they've really nerfed it, haven't they? Throw Mine, reduce boon rip from 2 to 1. Medical Dispersion Field, Conversion Percentage. Okay, let's have a look at, let's look up a couple of these, because they go, you know, when you're going through the traits and all the things, you forget the ability names to just go with numbers. I'm just going to make sure that Cleansing Field is the one I actually know. I'm actually thinking about on the Elixir Gun. Oh no, it's not. Sorry, it's from the Medkit. Yes, okay, that makes sense. Increased cooldown from 15 to 20. Okay, that was the big cleanse of conditions. That's fair enough. I mean, again, World v World, not specifically PvP. So thinking about that for your World v World players, you know, you've just been nerfed hard. Like your movement in terms of like moving with abilities, you just have to think more about where you're placing the worlds like Necros would. But worlds don't get used in World v World much because they're static and you don't move with them. So yeah. That's cool, I guess. More mechanists is going to be. It's just going to be mechanists now. That's a bit boring. That kind of sucks. I'm not going to lie. It's a bit of an interesting change. I would have liked to have seen them stay with the engineer and just a reduction in, I don't know, stats or, you know, in terms of defense, what you get and condition removal and pulse, you know, that kind of thing, rather than changing the inherent how it's used, because it's changed again and it feels like they're not sure still what to do with it. They've always had these problems with gyros, but maybe we'll see. I mean, you know, I'm not gonna poo-poo it completely. But hey we go, hey ho. And also we don't know if it's like PvP specifically as well, structured PvP. So Fumigate is the first skill on Elixir Gun. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, otherwise, Defense Field is the tool belt skill for Bulwark Gyro, which is the big bubble. So that's got reduced in increased cooldown of Wealthier World. You know, those bubbles are pretty...
A few shaves across the board too.
Yeah.
Honestly, they're just horrible to look at as well. But like, they look cool, but they just block vision. It's just awful. But they're a lot of... It's projectile hate. Like, they just destroy projectiles, so you can't at any range people. And it's with loads of scrappers in the raid, like it was just annoying. So that's fair.
Absolutely.
We have anything else?
See what else we got.
Kinetic Accelerators. That's
Yes,
great to change.
Kinetic Accelerators, which is not up on the screen.
We can, I guess, show that in game.
Yeah.
The note here is that this used to give AoE quickness. That was added to the game for PvE reasons. We want that, you know, quickness scrapper to be a build that is accessible, that gives you a lot of quickness up.
No.
But the kind of repeatable nature of this is commonly an issue in competitive modes. We'll see a similar thing with Draconic Echo, was kind of a big deal with Herald. We'll talk about it a little bit later. But fundamentally, Scrapper does a bit too many things at once, quickness being one of those, and we wanted to just rip that out in competitive. This is competitive only. The straight still gives quickness in PvE.
Oh my god. Why? Why? Everyone is saying this balance patch is really good, and I'm just like, ultimate sadness, taking away like the best things. Scrapper had like a couple of good things, like the synergy was so good. Reduce the duration or something, please. No. I'm probably get razzed for this because, like, you know, engineer made, but like this destroys like a ton of my build. I need to check what it does right now. Let's find out. I'm very sad. Engineer is getting gutted, honestly. Well, Scrapper is at the moment. Oh man. So the moment you get quickness 2.5 seconds, okay? And actions are faster, you gain concentration based on percentage of your power. So now you're gonna get Fury and you're gonna get Might. Which means you can take out, you can go for something else in firearms trait line, because you can go for the stability, grants Fury and everything else, the synergy between those lines. So it's not the worst. It's Might and Fury and also concentration. Damn. I'm a little bit sad about this right now. We could go for quickness elsewhere as well, but like it does mean that I'm probably just gonna not use wells. They've really rinsed the wells usage on Scrapper. Wow. I'm a little bit disappointed in these changes, honestly. I feel like I'm sad that there's nothing else has been thought of for this. I can't think of anything like other than shaving numbers and, like, you know, reducing survivability and things like that, but like, yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I think I'm just shocked, and initial reactions, you know, I'm not thinking, you know, and I think I'm still very respectful, but
But in competitive mode, it's going to give some other boons instead.
Yeah, still some good effects.
They it does do a lot. Like in World v World, it's very, very oppressive. But like in PvP, people aren't really using it that much. And so like, I think this is going to be used even less. It really depends on the combinations and what else they're picking up here
Games, obviously,
and changing for Scrapper.
We just didn't want quickness coming from Scrapper.
So wait a minute. If the gyros, the wells now are in situ in an area, that means the stealth gyro is not moving with you either. Oh my god. So you haven't got AoE moving stealth. I guess it's more like Shadow Refuge now for Thief. So just stay in it for the maximum time, then move. That was so fun. They're taking away so much of the fun of Scrapper. Oh man. Sadness.
That's that.
Oh well.
So next up we had some Holosmith changes.
Yep. And again,
no, who cares about Holosmith's boring. I'm joking, sorry. Holosmith is yeah. It's just always been like that kind of spec for me where I'm like, it just does damage and yeah, kind of fun I guess. And the look of it is good, but it's just damage. Doesn't feel like a really, you know, it's just one of those specs where you know what it does. It doesn't do anything else. It just does damage and that's it. Whereas the Scrapper's got some support. It's got utility. I'm one of those players. I like my support and utility. And yeah, I don't know. Let's see what they got to say about Holosmith.
Yeah, so we see some grenade kit changes, buffing up the damage on a handful of skills, bringing the cooldown back down. We're kind of trying to find the space in between the last set of grenade holo nerfs and where it is right now, because it's definitely fallen out of the meta. Definitely a bit weaker than where we want it to be, but we don't want it to be the dominant meta force that it necessarily once was. So Freezer Grenade notably is getting all its damage back, but we're not putting the damage back on Poison Grenade. And then Grenade Barrage, slight buff, Shrapnel Grenade cooldown coming down. We have a couple other nice changes for Holosmith in there as well. Cauterize actually a nice usability update, making it cast instantly, less punishing, less burning duration. So we actually reduced the Condi Cleanse there just because it might actually be too powerful, and we bumped up the heal on Cool and Blast a little bit too, so maybe that's the Holosmith heal of choice. Yeah, and again, just a quick reminder, Prime Light Beam is going up to a 1.0 coefficient on its damage. Which is somewhere around a 0.75 for one-handed equivalence. Yeah. So we have a couple more general engineer changes to talk about as well, I believe. Yes, so as we talked about earlier, Overshield, no longer cooldown reduction, rolling in all the cooldown baseline for
Wait, what?
PvE and World v. World. PvP, the cooldowns are back down to where they were. That nerf previously happened for Mechanist specifically. This was one of the cases where Holosmith got kind of nerfed because the CDR trait was too potent with Mechanist, and that is no longer an issue. Utility Goggles, this is part of a kind of an initiative to give a little bit more Condi removal to NG outside of Alchemy and Inventions.
That's cool because, yeah, you feel like you have to go for Alchemy and Inventions, otherwise you're screwed as an engineer because you got no condition removal. But I didn't really mind that because it was just a thing with engineer, like we can't really remove that many conditions and that was kind of our weakness. And I think classes having a weakness is a part of their identity. So I'm not really bothered about that. I'm not feeling great about these engineer changes. I'm not going to lie. Not going to lie. But, you know, I think, you know, we've just been really, really strong. There's been a lot of strength in other things. I'm not sure why they're not, like, where's the Mechanist stuff? Like, shouldn't they be talking about nerfs for that?
Goggles, as we were looking at reactive lenses, move this to an on-heal trigger. Now it also removes one damaging condition in addition to granting resistance.
Oh, that's cool. Removing it, so now they're doing triggers after using a healing skill. Okay, reactive lenses. Let's just quickly look up this trait as well. So I get the wording correct, sorry. So reactive lenses activate lesser utility goggles when blinded or disabled. So that just removes disables, stun, daze, knockback, pull, knockdown, etc, etc. So that's going to remove, so it's going to trigger after using a healing skill as well. So that's actually really good. That's a nice little change. So that's on the first line of tools. So that gives you some more worth in tool belt skills. This actually could be really good for the pistol Mechanist build. Nice.
Which we also bumped up the duration a little bit. And then the more exciting change, Mechanized Deployment, that's the tool's minor trait, is now going to say every tool belt skill cleanses a condition. Yes. It's actually quite powerful.
What? Okay, we're back. We're back. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. So instead, this is actually kind of cool. We don't need Scrapper anymore, that's why. We just got tools. Tools is the thing. Okay, let's have a look at this. Spelled it wrong, that's why it's not working. Mechanized. I wonder whether or not. There we go. I can't type because I'm excited. So right now, mechanized is in mechanized deployment is tools in the trait lines. It's a minor in the mastered tier. But right now, it just does your tool belt skills gain reduce recharge, which is your bar across the top. Your F1 to F4, F5. And it's the reduced recharge of 15%. But now they're saying they cleanse a condition as well, maybe? Is it an addition? Maybe it's an addition as well. One cleanse condition, which means if you go for Elixir Gun on your tool belt skill, and now we'll remove 2, I guess, maybe? Actually, we need to check that out. Elixir Gun. Let's just double check, because I've forgotten that maybe that may not do the thing I thought it would do. Let's have a look. Oh man, I can't remember what it is called. I need to just find it. It's Elixir. Anyway, the F whatever, the tool belt skill for Elixir Gun, it's the breaks done. I can't remember if it removed a condition or not, and my brain is completely gone. Let's have a look at tool belt skills. We'll just quickly see if that is going to be it. I can't find it. I'd have to load into the game. Anyway, doesn't matter. Important thing is, that's good. Condition removal. Love it. I'm just getting loads of ideas of things popping into my head right now.
It will cleanse it.
I am doing this live, so yeah, just bear with me.
When leaving Hollow Forge, if you're on Hollowsmith, but it will not cleanse a condition when entering Hollow Forge.
Right, and that's mostly a balanced decision just to make sure it didn't blow out too hard, but it is still a very potent Condi Cleanse option for Tools Hollow.
Yeah.
Kinetic Battery might slight bump there, and Takedown Round, we removed the kind of the weird, creating the...
So I'm kind of confused. There's an ad going on right now, and I haven't got ad blocker. I'm kind of confused about why they've put it specifically under Hollowsmith here. But it's tools. It's just tools line. You know, they're pushing metas now. They're pushing builds and classes. They're pushing. That's why they've talked about it there. They're pushing Hollowsmith more in PvP and probably World v World maybe as well. That won't happen. I think with Mechanist. But they're trying to push Hollowsmith in PvP more as an active kind of very. Yeah, rather than a sit back and press buttons and run around build, like, which is kind of what a Scrapper is a bit like. And like, I don't think that. I think they're insinuating they want to push Hollowsmith more into the meta than anything else, and Grenade Hollowsmith specifically. Yeah, I'm still over shield. Does that mean they're just bringing down the cooldown of shield skills? I'm a little bit confused by the way they explained it. We might go back and just try and hear that again, I think.
For Tools Hollow.
Yeah.
Kinetic Battery might slight bump there, and Takedown Round, we removed the kind of the weird...
Kinetic Battery is when you build up the charges of your tool belt skill usage, and then it kicks off some quickness. Again, that's going to be your source of quickness probably. Takedown Round rework, increased damage while endurance is not full. Oh, okay. That's quite cool. Oh, okay. Now, I'm not minding these changes too much with tools. These are okay. These are okay. So striking a foe above the health threshold places a delayed explosive charge on them. That's 50%. So they've changed it completely. And now it's increased damage while endurance is not full. So they've balanced it more around your endurance bar, which is what a lot of tools is about. Like you're using your F1 skills to, your tool belt skills to remove conditions, to gain energy, to an endurance, sorry, to, yeah, it's all really based around that tool belt skill. And then you've kind of got the endurance here relation, which is, you know, increased damage while endurance is not full. So then you can go for the other traits, which don't build your endurance, and you can focus on quickness and more damage, which is pretty good, or gadgets. But yeah, I like that they're buffing a core trait line.
Creating the
that's cool.
Exploding whatever it was on the ground. It's not a grenade, but you know, people have it's just not a very interesting mechanic, not a very healthy mechanic, honestly, even though it missed very frequently. So it's just now a damage.
Yeah, it was bad. Like takedown round was just not good anyway. It was just a delayed charge on someone, like, you know, just yeah.
While endurance is not full.
Yeah.
It's just a slight little, you know, slight improvement.
And I believe that is
that all of our NG changes? I believe so.
Yes, indeed. All right.
Interesting. Okay, not a lot. Well, there is some. Well, I mean, Scrapper's been wrecked completely. Scrapper is like dead. Well, no, it's not dead. It's just less.
So the obvious at the very top, if you're a World of Role player, you probably
pretty big. That is pretty big. The Scrapper worlds are a huge change and a disappointing change, honestly. I'm disappointed they couldn't find any way of keeping the gyros on the player, because I felt like that was quite a cool little, you know, you got your little bot with you and it was just a different way of approaching worlds. I think that's just maybe a fear of, because I like running around on my Scrapper, and I've been doing that in World v World as a roaming build, and now that defeats the object of that build and I'll have to completely change it. It's not like the things were brought down and I don't have to adjust different things. It's like that mechanic is changed significantly, and it means that you are more of a, you know, focused in an area, or maybe, you know, it's just more about you have to think more ahead about what you're going to do rather than react specifically to what's happening to you in the immediate moment around and on your person, which could be okay, you know. So I don't want to sound too negative. I do think, yeah, it kind of sucks though. I think it's just a personal thing where I'm like, damn, you know, I kind of like that. I love that change. It was such a fun change. And in PvP, it wasn't used that much anyway, but, you know, here we are. So that's the thing. Medical dispersion field. Let's just quickly look that up as well. Here's my brain. Okay, there we go. So while in combat, percentage of healing you apply to yourself is stored in the medical dispersion field. Each interval stored healing is spent to nearby allies. It's had a couple of changes in the past. Yeah, it did get one in June. It was the big one as well. But that now is being changed from percentages 10% to 7% in World v World. So your supportiveness in World v World as a Scrapper is really going down. So I'm wondering, what, like, are engineers going to go now for Mechanist more, or are they going to keep going with Scrapper and see how it goes? But in World v World, that could really, like, I feel like that is relevant for World v World. Like, these changes feel really World v World focused and not PvP focused, and it goes to prove for me that the slow decline, the decline of interest in PvP is obvious, and that's okay, and I get it. But, you know, I'm a PvP fanboy, but I'm playing all the modes now in World v World the least, but I might start to get back into that. Yeah, overall, I don't know how I feel, honestly. For engineers, now I've heard really good things for Druid, for specifically there's more. I think they've changed the second ability on the staff to be more of a player focused ability. Warrior has apparently got some really awesome changes. They're trying to bring back they brought back the dodge for Vindicator. I think haven't got that far yet. And I might cover the other things if you want me to, but I'm an engineer player, so I know that class the most, and that's the one I'm most confident about, other than the names and remembering, because I just think ability and number on, like, skill number. That's where I am. It's just I'm old, people. That's just what it's about. If you've liked me going over this and talking about my feelings about this, just honestly reacting, let me know in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. If you hated it, you can dislike it if you want to. I mean, at the very least, just chuck me a sub if you want, and come and dislike future videos. I'm joking. It's been awesome to hang out with you for a bit. Check out some of our other stuff. We've got the Guild Wars 2 podcast, which we do weekly. I just did an episode today of the Lightbringers as well. And otherwise, good job, Cal and Roy. Apparently loads of people have said that this balance patch is looking great and fantastic. I have no doubt about that. I'm talking about engineers specifically. I'm a little bit sad about the changes. A lot of them are necessary to bring things down and in line, and I understand nerfs. Not too massively happy about the gyro changes, honestly, but that's a personal thing, that change. It's just an AoE casted circle far away, and the gyro is for a look. It doesn't feel that unique for Scrapper, which is the movement did feel very unique. Like this is something that in the other classes don't do, and now it feels kind of, yeah, I don't know, a bit boring. You saw the Purge gyro there, which is quite cool. Not the Purge, the not bad gyro, sorry. Okay, anyone, give me some non-sadness. I'm joking. People, I will see you later. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.